trois de ses collègues. Donc, si je ne me trompe pas, Panayotis Alexandre Lobokalis, Michel Wiches et Alexandre Setkov. Donc, je lui donne la parole pour nous présenter son intervention s'intitulant « Quelques enjeux technoscientifiques et applications possibles de la vidéoprojection mobile ».
Bien, je vais parler sans micro, si possible. Et d'abord, je voudrais remercier Bernard et puis tous les organisateurs de ce colloque pour m'avoir invité, puis surtout pour aussi avoir organisé un colloque sur ce thème que je trouve extrêmement intéressant. On avait déjà eu l'occasion de collaborer avec Bruno, avec Bernard sur ces sujets. Je suis content qu'on puisse en discuter. Alors, en fait, dans ma présentation, il va y avoir une partie un peu technique que je vais essayer de faire la plus courte possible, mais je tiens quand même, puisque bon, je suis un peu là pour ça, pour montrer qu'il y a quand même de la techno aussi derrière ces choses-là. Pas forcément histoire d'en faire un sujet théorique, mais c'est plutôt pour montrer que de notre côté, on a des grands travaux à faire si on veut faire en sorte que toutes ces expériences, aussi ce qu'on appelle de réalité augmentée en général, se passent bien et donnent l'impression d'une sorte de naturalité et permettent ce qu'on appelle l'engagement, l'embodiment, etc. Je voulais savoir, you're English speakers, right? Should I give my talk in English? Yeah. Is it okay for everyone if I give my talk in English? Is it fine? Are you fine with this? Okay, so then I will give it. You're welcome. So this work basically has been done with 3 of my colleagues. The 2 of them are PhD students and are working on the topics of what is called spatial augmented reality, or also video projected augmented reality, which is augmented reality where you use a video projector to project on the physical space to enhance the physical space with data or with visual. And my conclusion will be more about the possibilities that offer this kind of technology. So there are two main tracks in augmented reality. This is one track we just saw with Bernard and Xavier, which is called mobile augmented reality with mobile devices. You have your smartphone, you have a tablet, and you move in an environment and you see on your tablet, on your smartphone, data that is overlaid with the physical world. And the second track, which is the one that I'm going to talk about, is about video projected augmented reality, where you use a video projector. Here, the shoe is white, basically. It's a white shoe, and you can project different designs, different types, and then the consumer can possibly choose her or his own design. And so, what do we need basically to do that? We need to know where we are projecting and how is the space on which we are projecting. So how is it both on the geometrical side, so what's the depth, what's the shape, and on the visual side. So is it white, is it yellow, is it different colors, so that we can compensate for the colors. So the main task we have to do here is tracking, so be able to track objects and measure their volume, their spatial shape. Registration is how to match the virtual data on the physical data. And then the compensation is how to compensate the projection so that what we see looks as if it would be on a white surface, more or less. And what we cannot see under is that the speed is also an issue, especially on mobile devices, because lag is very unpleasant. So if for example, the registration is lost when you're moving your smartphone a bit quickly, then it's very unpleasant and may make people feel disengaged with respect to the... So some applications. Here, one of the applications is the same as for the shoes. It's called shader lens. So it's how to make an object look as something else. It's very easy on a white object, but it can also be done on non-white objects. Another application, which is, I would say, more practical there is this Illuroom and Room Alive systems of Microsoft, where you kind of put a device in your room. You first have a scan of the room to get the 3D data, and then it's used to transform your room in an augmented space together with the game that is happening on your desktop, for example. And this is for the purpose of gaming everywhere. Also, it's a bit common with what we have been hearing in the first part of the morning. So, now I will go into technical details. I will be a bit quick because I know it's not your focus and I don't want to make it too heavy, but I just want to show you the kind of research we're doing and what it is concretely. Of course, you will see it's very far away from your probably your interest. It's just you know what is behind the scene. First, something that you probably all know is called keystone correction. Is how to make an image square when it's not, when you're projecting with the video projector. So of course you can use the remote control and do it on the projector, but the hope is to make it automatically and to make it whatever the orientation of the video projector. Why? Because if you have a video projector on your smartphone, we also want possibly to be able to project something that looks like a rectangle, even though you're not perfectly aligned with the wall. So this is one of the research. Other technique is to try to measure the environment. This is precisely what is done in the Illuroom system of Microsoft. Is you project what is called structured light. This is a kind of stripes, and from this, the system can guess what is the volume on which you are projecting. So it's a way of making a 3D scan in a way of the environment. I don't know if you watched the videos for Illuroom, you see at the beginning there are many structured lights projections that are made, and then the game can start because the environment is equal. Other technique for keystone correction, and this is precisely the topic of the PhD thesis of Alexander Setkov, who is one of my co-authors, who is the PhD student, and he's working on how to make what is called feature point matching, so how to be able to transform a warped image that is not rectangular into a rectangular one. So it's called geometrical compensation. So there are issues about the fact that the surface on which you project is not necessarily uniform. There might be ambient light and all that kind of technique. But the purpose is to avoid precisely the structured light technique that we saw and that I was talking about, so that the people don't have this kind of intrusive technique. And also, this is not very compatible with mobility, because then you would have to reproject structured light every time you move your device. Well, among the issues I told you, ambient light, surface colorimetry, density, and also the fact is that we get, we are not aware of this, but we have very, very bad capture and projection devices. So when you take a picture of an image that you project with the video projector, you get very, very low quality images. I will show you one later. And it means that even though you think that what you see here is a bit like what I had in my computer, it's actually totally different. And if you capture it with the camera, it's going to be, of course, even worse, because then you get the distortion of the camera. And since this system works with camera and projector, what you get in the end to compensate for is very low quality. And there is what is called GPU implementation. It's how you can implement this efficiently in the computer by using the graphic card computation. This is it. So yeah, exactly. This is the kind of quality, image quality that we get in the end. And this is what the camera sees of the video projector image, the video projected image. And you see that the image is very low quality. So if we want to do some geometrical warping on this, it's going to be a bit hard. So this is why Alexander has quite a lot of work about this. And as I told you, the ultimate purpose is come with your video projector, be able to project on a wall and have an image that is perfectly aligned with the wall, rectangular, and that everyone will see properly. This purpose is not that high. Another difficult point is how to compensate for the background. So here, just so that you understand the issue in this research, you can see on the top left, there is a wall with stripes. So there are gray and dark gray and light gray stripes. And the purpose is to video project the image that you see in the second column on the wall without seeing the wall, without seeing the stripes, or without seeing the squares that we have in the second image. Of course, the image is going to be darker. We cannot have it as bright as if it would be a white background. But the purpose is to more or less try to conceal the colors of the background. And it's not that simple. So these are some tests that... so this work is done by Panagiotis Alexandros Bokaris, another PhD student who worked on color compensation. And we hope that with both geometrical and color compensation, we will reach high quality video projected augmented reality. So what are the issues? I told you the devices are not very good. They are not linear. Linear is a good property because you can interpolate between values without knowing what is in between, and this you cannot do. The devices are also not additive. It means if you analyze what is made for red and what is made for green, you don't necessarily, and what is made for blue, you don't necessarily get the sum as being the addition of what you have analyzed separately. So what can it be used for, in addition to compensate for the background, is also to do modify the color aspect of objects, so it could make objects look different from what they are. As you saw for the white shoes that were made in color, but it can also be colored objects that you make look different. Another sorry. Another application that was actually the main purpose of the thesis is to conceal the presence of objects. So how to make someone or an object disappear in a scene. And this PhD thesis is made in collaboration with Veronique, who is a stage director, and she has a theater play that she's currently working on, where she wants to have people disappear at some point. So the purpose is to make a video projection that makes people look either like the background, if it's a lit environment, or dark, if it's a non-lit environment. Of course, as you can guess, it's not very easy to illustrate. So this is this is very example. Yeah, what you can see is a little bit, but not so much. Perhaps if the environment would be darker, you could see it more. So what's next? So the purpose is to have low color distortions, so to have better devices, better video projector, better cameras, to be able to compensate for the colors, to be able to calibrate for geometry very quickly. And of course the purpose is then, we didn't talk about this, but I guess Xavier is very aware of these issues, is the quality of the mobile devices, how fast they can make the computations, how fast they can analyze images, how fast they can do some computations that cannot be made in other place than on the mobile device because they are made in the environment. And of course then there is also these issues about sensor fusions to know where you are in the environment and localize quite accurately the device in the environment. So to be a bit more probably connected to what can interest people here, I will show 4 projects that I made on video projected augmented reality with very low quality calibration or whatever, but that can be, however, interesting. So, one of the projects, I will show the videos afterwards, I've just present them. One of the projects was to use the pipes of an organ to make a video projection, and the purpose was to video project on each pipe something that would look like the LED bar that you have on some Wi-Fi amplifiers or whatever. And the purpose was that the high frequencies would be on the small pipes and the low frequencies would be on the big pipes. Of course, it's totally fake because, as you probably know, an organ has many more pipes than what you can see from outside. Probably, you can only probably see 10% of the organ, since it was not really matching the pipes, it was more kind of metaphor of the visual feedback. There was that you cannot really hear in what I will project, but I want you to be aware of. There was also audio augmented reality, so there were loudspeakers all around the audience, and the music was captured inside the organ, close to the pipes. It was processed, specialized, probably filtered, reprocessed, repitched, whatever, and then it was the sound was dispatched to the audience in addition to the natural sound of the organ. But sometimes the organ was very low and the augmentation was very high. Sometimes it was totally the opposite. The organ was very loud and the augmentation, but it was so that the audience could be aware of the real and the virtual instruments that were together performing. And there was also the visual part that I've been mentioning, and this is the team that worked on this. Another project that was the preceding work project was made in 2008. This project was made in 2009. It's called Mobile Augmented Reality. It was called Mobile Augmented Reality, and the purpose was to use the boat on the Seine River and to video project an augmentation of the landscape. So as you see here, there was some kind of contouring made about the natural scene, and it was there was I can show you how it was installed. There were very powerful infrared projectors lighting the landscape, and very powerful video projector reprojecting on the landscape that was analyzed in real time by the computer. So this was a very difficult project for the reasons that we couldn't really rehearse because we had only the boat for the evening when we made it. Well, we could rehearse from the car, but it was a bit different, and we didn't have the same video projector, the same devices. So it was a bit difficult to kind of prepare this installation. And there were aesthetic issues, what looks and feels nice when you do that kind of thing. Technical issues, of course. And there is, I think, that kind of experiment and experience also that you do. I will come back to this later. There is a social issue. There is really the interesting thing about video projected augmented reality. I find when compared with mobile augmented reality on smartphones or tablets, is that there is a very natural shared experience in this kind of installation. So the team. Another project that was called Shedding Light on Shadow in 2012. The purpose, so you probably know the digital silhouette when you see a kind of fake shadow of someone. That is, you probably, I guess all of you have experienced installation where you go somewhere and you see your silhouette projected in the installation. This is a bit different. The difference is that here it's also a virtual shadow, but that is matched with a real shadow. So the purpose is to combine real and virtual shadow. So it's not like a fake silhouette. It's really the purpose is really to have both being combined. And I will show you because there was a kind of installation that was made, and one of the issues in this work was to make people aware of the trace that you leave in your environment, and that your shadow is also something that has a life. And there was a kind of lag, as you will see, between the video projection and the video projected shadow and the real shadow. So there was also an experience of time that was very interesting, by the way, when they worked with some handicapped people who had problems with about short-term memory, and they found that it was interesting to work with them on that kind of installation. And it's also a way of stimulating creativity and like individual sense. So this is the themes to the installation. And the last work I will present is called Janus Loci, which means the spirit of the place, probably. On the left, you can see a rendering. On the right, that looks a bit more, let's say, mesh-like, like computer-assisted design or something like this. And on the right, you see a kind of reproduction of what the church was in the 17th century. Okay? And these two projections are made in the same space. So it's a bare church with more or less white walls, on which we were projecting two types of renderings. One being more kind of related to the physical, geometrical properties of the church. The other one being more related to its story. So, that's 5 minutes. Good. So I will skip to the video. Thank you very much. The main purpose, I would say, in this installation is when compared with mapping, is to really address the 3D. When you have seen probably a lot of videos on mapping on facades of buildings, but there is a limitation to this, is that you're projecting on a flat surface. And the purpose here was really to use the 3D of the building and really make an immersive experience by making the augmentation on the whole building. But for this, we needed to have a scan of the building, a 3D representation of the building, which is not always easy to have. But we really think that there is an interesting research avenue on using really the full 3D environment for the projection, which is also what was presenting in the video games. Okay, so this was kind of multidisciplinary team with people in architecture, history, and design. I will finish by showing a few videos. So I will jump in the videos because I don't have time to. As you can see, for example, the registration was not that good, and we had difficulties because precisely we didn't prepare very much. And we tried along the way different types of augmentation to see which one was working well, which one was not. Okay, this is working perfect. Well, people enjoy it. And I have the last photo to show, which is about James Whitney, and which does So this is the historical part. Okay. Thank you for your attention. I must apologize. I have a binational family, and it's very difficult to organize a Christmas period. So I cannot be attending the conference tomorrow because I have to organize a French Christmas here for moving. So I'm really sorry that I cannot be there tomorrow for the roundtable. I would really have loved. Perhaps one of my colleagues, Michel Guiffres, who was mentioned in the title, might might be able to come, but she's on maternal leave and has a very young baby, so it might not be so easy for her. She will do her best to try to come, but I'm